Yeah?
Sometimes I still don't get it.
What don't you get?
Like we did a prenup before we get married.
Yeah, of course. We did a prenup, yeah.
So it's a very normal thing to do
Yeah? Why are you
for
asking?
Jewish people.
Yeah, yes.
Because when you pull out the prenup, I was thought, okay, it's talk about money. Did I marry some mystery rich guy? No, it just like everything, like a housework, kids,
Yep.
everything.
Mhm.
So it's weird.
Okay. So prenups, the idea, I guess you can say, of a prenup, Jews have been doing for a long, long time, man.
So almost every Jewish couple do prenup.
Pretty much, yeah. You should have a prenup before, right? So prenups, we've been doing this. Some rabbis and scholars might say for a couple thousand years, right? So we've had the idea of what is a prenup. Like, we never called it a prenup. That's a law term, right?
Yeah.
But we called it like it's like a marriage contract before
Okay.
we get married, right?
Okay.
So what happens is that when two Jewish people want to get married,
Yes.
right? They go to a rabbi and they sit down with the rabbi, and the rabbi asks very tough questions. Because if two people want to get married, you must be clear on your future, right? You can't be just like, oh, don't worry, you know, when we get a house, you don't worry about money, don't worry about this, don't worry about kids, you're going to cause trouble later, right? So when you sit down with the rabbi wants to make very clear what's going on now, right? So even you guys go, oh, I love you so much, you know, oh, I love you too so much, right? They're going, I love you, I love you. I love you only goes so far in life. And then reality hits you, right? So the rabbi is the hammer of reality, right? So you sit down and the rabbi goes, what are you going to do about money? What's going on? Who's paying what in the house? How are you going to put money together, right? Obviously, the woman in our tradition controls the money. But there is sometimes where the man can control too, if the rabbi thinks it's correct for the family, individual family, right?
Mm-hmm.
But it's very rare. Like I said, it's very rare. But they will talk about this. How much money does a woman bring in? How much money does a man bring in? How much does your house cost? How much does food cost? How much does this cost and that cost? They'll bring everything
Like
in.
even housework.
Yeah, they're not even there yet. We're just going through money. First thing
Okay.
is money. If you can go through money, then we can talk about other stuff. So the rabbi focuses first on what about money, right? Who brings in how much and how much things cost. How much does your rent cost? How much does your food cost? How much does travel, right? Stuff like this. If they can agree on this, now they can start moving into another section of the prenup. Okay, housework. Who's doing what? The rabbi would say, the Torah says woman should do this, this, and this. Can you complete these things? The man should do this, this, and this. Can you complete these things, right, in the house? If they can't, then the rabbi's job is to see how he can balance out, right? If the man is always working over 40 hours, then the woman needs to take more responsibility in the house, right?
Mm-hmm.
But if the woman is working over 40 hours, the man needs to take more responsibility. And if they can't, like, agree on this, right? The rabbi won't be very pleased. This shows a sign that there's a weakness in the family, right? See, the rabbi's whole point is we need to make sure everything is clear before you go off and get married. Because love is such a, crazy
Chemical
thing.
thing.
Yeah, it's this crazy thing, right?
Yeah, crazy
Yeah.
chemical, right?
Yeah, so they talk about that. Then they talk about children. Have you agreed how many children do you want? Can you afford the children? Who's taking care of the children? Are you hiring a nanny? Are you not hiring a nanny, right? Then parents. What's going on with your parents? When are you going to your parents' house? How are you going to take care of your parents, right? How are your parents going to help you in the family? What are your mother and father going to do? That's also another thing. So your parents will have to agree whatever you say. If you say, my parents will only do this, this, and this, if they do more, it's against the prenup. So we're also controlling the mother and father-in-laws on both sides. So they don't interfere.
With a young couple.
Yes, because the rabbi wants them to be balanced. So he will decide if one side needs help, so if they have a kid and they need help, right? Which parents will be coming in? It's a lot of work actually, right? And then not only kids, they also talk about just like housework. Also, where do you go for your holidays? That's also a very big one, right? On Sabbath, right? Which is the day they go to the synagogue, right?
Yes.
Like who's gonna cooking the dinner before Sabbath? Usually women do it, but nowadays it's modern, so rabbis really need to balance it out sometimes. It's not as easy as back in the day, right?
Yes.
Now the rabbis, it takes, when you begin this process with the rabbi who's going to marry you, it might take months of meetings. Because
so if they can go prenup, look like they're going to have a successful
yeah,
marriage.
so if you can follow everything, like the chores, the kids, the money, the parents-in-law, the hospitals, like everything, the rabbi will think of everything, right? He will make sure he'll bring everything. And what he's looking for is, can two sides give and take, right? Can you give something to your partner, right? Can you take something from your partner, right? So if the man is going, okay, I give up this, I give up this, I give up this, and the woman's just taking, the rabbi will refuse to marry them. That's improper. If the woman says, I give up everything, the rabbi will also refuse to marry, right? Both sides need to find a way to balance out each other,
Like
not one over top of the other, right?
Okay, so good teamwork.
Yes, the rabbi's there because in a Jewish family is our foundation. And we really need to make sure, the rabbi really needs to make sure that the foundation of our community is healthy. And that's his job. Now, every rabbi has different opinions, okay? So some will focus on other stuff. It depends on your section, right? But you must have a rabbi sign off on this prenup before you get married. And that's why I gave one to us. Ours was a little bit, we didn't have a rabbi go over it, but I tried my best to,
Fair enough.
Fair enough. And
Yeah.
we did talk a while, okay?
Yeah.
Yeah, and I did erase stuff and put stuff back and forth,
Yeah,
right?
so it's a dual contract, right?
Yeah, so I was fair because I do love you and I respect you and I want you to be fair in the house as well, right?
Yes.
It's only fair for you, it's fair for me, right?
Yes.
So the prenup is really there. We've been using it for a couple thousand years to make sure that our families stay together and have less divorce and less problems. Because trust me, rabbis solve a lot of problems. They want to solve the problem today, not tomorrow. Right?
Yeah, divorce is kind of cool game, very
Yeah,
messy.
so that's what prenups is for us, right? So it's a way to see if a couple can really get married and a couple can sacrifice stuff to their partner.
Okay, that's good, I guess.
Yeah,
A good way.
it's the best way we found out, right?